we're going to do something different. Actually, two things different, all right? Number one is we're filming the podcast in video. It's going to go on YouTube. It's going to go on Spotify. You can watch it in all its grandeur, and that's going to be a feature as we go in for now on, okay? We're going to have a video version. We're going to have audio version. So if you're on iTunes and audio, if you want to go Spotify for video, if you go YouTube or video, we're just trying to make it better. We're going to do clips, all that jazz, because why hold back? It makes me have to comb my hair a little bit more, but ain't no big deal. Ain't no much hair to comb, all right? So today, the second thing is we're going to use one of the cool tools that we have. So I'm going to give you this podcast an individual kind of like insight into a coaching call where we use this thing called the 50-50 game. We invented it. We created it. It's super duper awesome and helps students learn. So you're going to be like, fly on a wall in a coaching call where we go, bam, let's talk about Agile concepts. Let's use this 50-50 game. And then as we go through there, it's a really great learning experience where we read a concept or question, and then we have people pick A versus B, which if you think about it, gets into the 50-50 nature of the questions, right? All these questions, you get them down to 50-50. So we invented a 50-50 game. And then if you get it right, you get it wrong, we still learn. So you're going to ride along for that, enjoy it. And really, if you're listening to this with your ears, go check it out with your eyes, right? And then we'll go through there. Share it, love it. We're here to help you. Onward and upward is the whole game always. So enjoy. Let's jump over and let's learn some stuff about Agile. What's up, dude?
Scott, do you hear me? Scott, do you have me?
Let me see. Are you able to hear me?
Scott, can you hear me?
Just message in the chat. There you go. Okay, we'll figure it out. Let's see the audio. There's June coming in. Let's see.
Scott, do you hear me now?
Let's see. Ding, 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 ding. Let's see. If not, hey June, how are you, ma'am?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Oh, hold on, it might be me. Let me see. Let's see if my audio. I just got off with Nate. Maybe I think it's good. Try to say something one more time, June.
Hi. Good morning.
Okay, got it. Beautiful. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
We're working on Jeremy's audio.
You still don't have me?
Got you now, dude. Got you now.
Right. I just had to pull my headset. I'm not sure what's going on with it.
No big deal. Jeremy, I got 9 Jeremys in my life. Which one are you? I apologize.
Horton.
Okay, Horton. Yeah, at the top of the list. Sweet. Go, Olivia. Sweet. Let me look at progress. You're killing it in Agile, bro. That's really good. That's good. Hey, Olivia, how are you, ma'am?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Very, very good. Kelly's getting. Did you want to go to the Kelly 7 o'clock or 8:30 p.m. Eastern call? Which one's best for you, ma'am?
I went to Kelly's last night. I have a hard stop in 30 minutes every day on Wednesdays, so that one would probably be best. But I just wanted to show up and see what this one was about.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to solve more questions and stuff today. How's everything going for you content-wise?
It's great. I really like the way that the site is set up. The games are fantastic. I'm really enjoying it.
Awesome. Super duper. And June, how's life, June?
You know what? I determined last night, Scott, that I'm doing some of the modules that aren't recording. I mean, there aren't. What am I trying to say?
Yeah,
I'm not getting credit.
We're building our own LMS. The guys are just like, it'll be 2 weeks till we're full.
Okay.
Like we've had the provider that gives us like the LMS, like the thing that stores the videos.
Yeah.
They've like, they're not as, we don't like them. And so we build our own system. We've been working on it for a couple of weeks, but now we're almost done. It looks really, really good. And now they're building the back end. So be about 2-3 weeks before it's live, but keep moving across. You look like you're all the way back to, you're in like the speed quizzes and stuff now, or where are you?
Kelly said that I was not done with weeks 3 and 4. So I went back last night after our call and I started doing them and I was like, I've done this. So then I did it again twice and it didn't register that I've done it. I did the Scrum.
I see 3. Yeah. I think that's like that. Yeah. I'll let the boys know, but like, yeah, that's why we're getting off of them. So,
okay. So I'm going to keep plugging away anyway, but it's not registering.
Sweet. Yep. Totally understand. And so like, yep, we'll be off of them and we'll be on us and everything we build works. So
okay.
Then we can go after their business. Maybe, who knows? That's a different business to be I don't want to deal with 1,000 me's, out there. Cause I don't know how to do anything. Cool. All right. So Jeremy, you're deeper into Agile. If we could do something today, would you prefer to do Agile stuff or what? What would you prefer the most?
So I feel pretty good about the concept. Sorry, turn my camera on. I feel pretty good about the conceptual stuff about Agile. I'm getting into all the phase 2 definitions and things like that. So I'm not overly familiar with that. So I don't know, it would be like pre-learning that would be worthwhile, or it'd be kind of a wasted because I haven't really studied it yet. But
that's
I tell
all
you
right.
what, last night though, I did recognize, I think June was on with me. I did recognize that I'm losing waterfall knowledge. So I gotta.
That's all right. It's going to come back.
Yeah.
Well, it'll come back in a second, like, cause we're going to go do it. And so what we'll do initially is we'll do some like 50-50 stuff. Olivia, you have a hard stop in like 24 minutes, right? Or 26 minutes, 25 minutes?
Yeah,
right?
That's correct.
So, and you're not too Agile yet, right?
No, not yet. I'm still in waterfall.
No big deal. So we're going to do some like Agile 50-50 cards, and we have flashcards coming in a couple weeks too. But like, we'll go through the concepts and we'll see if we can just confuse stuff and I can clean it up. And so we'll talk through some of these things. Let me restart everything. And then I'll just riff off of some of these things. So let me get it going. Boom, boom. And here we go. And we'll just use the first 30 or so minutes just to talk through concepts. If you don't know them, yay, that's cool. So you can see my screen. Is that correct? All right, sweet. So here's the deal with Agile. It's just building stuff in a very flexible manner. But if you're going to be flexible, it's a weird thing. You have to be disciplined as well. So if you're like, we're just going to willy-nilly build whatever, then you're going to go 1,000 different directions at the same time and get nothing done. So in order to be like very, very good at building things that you don't know necessarily how to build, we have to not take on the world's problems. We have to be very focused in what we take on, and we have to have all eyes focused on it because we're going to find problems, we're going to find opportunities, and we're going to try to make things work the first time. So it's just building stuff. It doesn't matter if we're waterfall or Agile, we're just building things. So when we built all this stuff, it's just like, what are we working on? How do we build it? Let's find the problems and let's find innovative ways to construct it. That's all Agile is. I think that's all Agile is. So we'll go through it. So Jeremy, you're expert. I'll say the question. You tell me if it's top or bottom. What is a version of the product that allows the team to collect maximum amount of validated learning about the customer with the least amount of effort? You might not know. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Just to have to guess. I mean, probably MVP.
Yeah. Do you know what MVP stands for? Not most valuable player.
No.
Sweet. June, what does it stand for?
Oh goodness. Is a minimal viable product?
Yeah, minimum or minimal viable product. Either one works. What's the concept? It says like maximum validated learning, whatever that means, with the least effort. Like, why do we do an MVP? What is an MVP in your mind?
Are you asking me or Jeremy?
Yeah, you.
Okay. So I think it's just
Pamela.
producing like a portion of an increment or a feature just to see how it works with the customer and to get feedback. But it's the minimum that we can get out to them without, risking quality or anything.
Right. And so like, if we're thinking about this 50-50 game, like if we were doing the minimum viable product, maybe we just produce like, I'm not the greatest. We just produce like hey, you can log into the game. You can see waterfall definitions. Maybe there's not, whatever, 180 cards. Maybe there's only like 15, 20 cards. Maybe you can't see the correct, incorrect, and unanswered. Maybe it just has the ability to click in through here. It shows you like the top thingy and you can select here and here. Mm-hmm. Maybe like, it's just like, hey, I can do that and figure it out. Like maybe that just gives enough concept. It turns red and green to say that's the minimum viable product. The goal would be, I believe, as the product owner, that somebody will like this and be willing to, buy into it. So instead of building it in its entirety with all this stuff and all this content and all this blah, 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 I'll just go and build a minor version of it that I can put out there. You get your hands on it and you tell me hate it, love it, or somewhere in between. And then from there, I'm like, all right, sweet. They liked it. They dig it. They wish there was more. I'd say, what do you wish there's more? I wish I could see all the ones that I haven't taken or the ones I missed, or I wish I could search the glossary. I wish I could restore it. I wish if I disagreed, I could put a problem in there. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Tell me while it's hot on the fire. And then from there, I can go and start making what they call a minimum marketable feature. It's a weird thing, but it's like, how much do I need to add into the product in order for it to be marketable out there to y'all, the customer, or usable by the thing? So then it's like, oh shoot, I can't just have one of these little things. I got to have at least a chunk of like waterfall stuff. I've got to be able to see whatever. I got to do whatever. Then we start thinking, what's enough stuff that I got to build to get it out there? And that's minimum marketable feature. And then I can start building on the top of it. Jeremy, you good? Yeah. I think we got some good learning out of the first one. That's cool. All right. Olivia, I know you don't know Agile, but whatever, dude. Criteria used to define a good user story. We're going to learn a couple things because you might not know what user story means. Written on a card, discussed in detail, and agreed on by the stakeholders. Do you know what a user story is?
I do. It's where you make like a customer to.
Oh, tell me more.
It's kind of like when you make a customer, so that way you can look at what they're looking for in your product. So I think the answer is persona.
Okay, so I think you have an understanding, but is the user story an idealized customer?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, but you're so beautiful in the sense of like how you're explaining it. Which word is an idealized version of our customer? It's on the page.
I don't know. The good user story?
No. It's lower. You said it earlier. Like, say the word.
Persona?
Yeah, there you go. All right. So the answer to this one is not persona, but what you described of like an idealized customer or whatever you said, I think that's what you said. That is a persona. Mm-hmm. So why would it be valuable for a business to understand the persona that they're serving? Why?
Because that's the clientele they're wanting for their product.
Yeah, because they're not making what makes them happy. They're making the company reps and the developers and the product owner. That if it makes you happy, that's super duper awesome. But what really matters is making the customer happy. Y'all out there in TV land, right? So persona is like the idealized version. Hey, 20 to 32-year-old, active male in the Northeast who blah, 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 and needs to have a way to stay warm in the winter when he runs before work. I don't know. That's really specific. All right. So you're like, okay, everything that we make needs to serve that, active Tim dude. Okay, cool. That's a persona. Now, if we know that a user story is not a persona, a user story is how we conceptualize ideas for the customer. That's what a user story is. Jeremy, I don't know if do you have any more insights on the user story?
You said you're talking to me?
Jeremy, real quick.
Yeah, no, I literally just looked at 3 C's yesterday. So
what does it mean?
The first one's weird. It's like card, and then you talk about it, and then you confirm it.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, this is, some sort of like well-defined thing that we want to do, and then we have a conversation to make sure we're all on the same page, and then we like confirm that.
That's super.
Yeah.
And so, hold on, I gotta tell somebody. My wife texted me in a coaching call. I'll call you in an hour. Yeah, so a user story is like when you're getting ready to build something, it's like a building block. So for this page that we're looking at with the green and all that junk in there, it's written in the voice of the customer. So it's like a little index card, if you will. That's how they originally started. They just put on like a little index card. So you didn't write like a book. Hey, I want to do that like a book. Like, so you got really specific. You say like, as a PMP student, I have the ability to see a question and pick one of the two answers so that I can test my knowledge about key concepts. Okay, cool. That's like basically describing this pagey right here, right? Another one would be, as a user, I can click and see the incorrect answers, the correct answers, and the unanswered answers. So it's a little building block for something that we're building. So that's a user story written in the voice of the user so that the developers, the builder bees, can go, what do you want me to build? We could show them a picture. You see this bar-y thing at the top? I want you to build that. And they're like, okay, I'll do whatever you want to, boss. But like, it's like, hey, the reason why we're building it is so that the student, as a student, I can see the incorrect answers so that I can refresh on them. Oh, okay. Then the builders go, dude, you bring the life to the party in the build. And you're like, it's not just like I hit a buttony thing. It's a button for a purpose. And they're like, dude, I dig it, bro. And so the 3 C's somebody made up that said every card is like, or the user stories are written on a card, meaning make it small so that we can talk. The second one is communication, talk it through. The third one is have an endpoint, a confirmation, so that when you build it, you know what done is. Because they could build the Taj Mahal of buttons at the top, but it's like, dude, I don't need Taj Mahal, bro. I just need, like, when you click this button, it pulls up all the incorrect answers. That's what I need. That's the finish point. So that's what they're saying. When you build user stories for people, you build them with this kind of lens on them. Make sense, Olivia? I think we're learning. I know we're learning. And you did great with like persona. That's super duper good. All right, Pamela, I'm going to June next. Agile, top or bottom. Agile software development technique where 2 programmers work together at one workstation, swapping roles, driver and navigator, driver and navigator. What is it?
This is kind of unfair. This is super easy, pair programming, because it's actually in the definition there. But
okay, well, it's not easy. I make it hard. I'll keep asking you questions till it gets hard.
You don't have to make. No, you don't have to make it hard.
No, you asked for it. Now I give it to you, dude.
No,
you were like, this is easy. I know everything.
No, I
Scott,
shouldn't
I'm
have
gonna take your
said that.
job. That's cool.
I'm not used to having a filter. I've been on furlough for 7 weeks. Come on.
No, it's okay. I got no filter either. I think we know that. All right, so what's the benefit of pair programming?
I don't know.
Make it up.
My guess is that they are bouncing ideas off of each other to get to the end result quicker and in a more efficient way and with more depth.
That's exactly correct. It could also be like it's 2 people working on it's suboptimal in the sense of like, well, that person could be working on something else and be heads down and working, but we're like, yeah, but 2 better than 1. It's there, like you said, they're bouncing ideas, they're saying, and they're progressing. They're not just theoretically talking, they're building. And then they switch because like my fingers might be gooder at something and your fingers might be gooder at something else. In the build, they're reflecting off each other. Somebody's kind of watching. That navigator role is kind of watching, guiding, helping, checking, quality kind of aspect there. And then they're flipping so that they're also learning from each other and building each other up as they go. So you get like a twofer. You get a more robust build. And a lot of times, if you do it well, there's like an improvement in skills. Because even if somebody is better than the other, they can improve by having to explain and having to think through like, oh God, why would you even think about doing it that dumb way in their head maybe? That they say like, oh, well, here's how you do it. And then the other person can have the confidence built of like learning new stuff and taking chances while the other person is going to help them there. And they're thirdly, they get tighter, Lord willing, tighter together, right? So we winner, chicken dinner all around. Now, because the first one was so easy, Pamela, what is continuous integration?
I knew you were going to do that.
I know it. Don't worry. You asked for it. Go for it.
Continue to build within the story point, like, or the sprint. That's all I got for that.
I dig it. Yeah. So continuous integration is like, all right, so when we're in a sprint, which a sprint is time boxed, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever you call it, 3 weeks, period, where we're going to build a set number of things to achieve a sprint goal, basically. And then we think about it a lot of times when we have a sprint review at the end, like a meeting where we build stuff, we evaluate it, we get customer feedback, and then it's a potentially shippable piece of work, an increment, meaning we can give it to the customer. Hey, I built this functionality. Let's snap it onto the product. Continuous integration says, instead of waiting to the end of the sprint, we can like build something, test it, get it approved, push it. Build it, test it, prove it, push it. To build it, test it, prove it, push it. Build it, test it, prove it, push it. And like do it all the way through the sprint. So while 2 weeks is super duper fast in the world of life, we could even get faster and build something in a day and a half or 2 days and push it. Now, in addition to like the coolness and awesomeness of getting a feature out and not having it sit on the shelf for a week and a half, getting out after 2 days, what's the other benefit? Many there are, but what's another benefit for continuous integration, Pamela, that you might think about, like of just snapping products on or features on as we build? What could be a benefit to the system?
I don't know how to get the words out.
Sorry.
It's a better end product. I mean, because I don't know, it's not gold plating because, well, I guess in a way it is gold plating, but gold plating, isn't that only in waterfall?
Yeah, it's not necessarily gold plating, but think about this. If we snap on 10 things that we built into a system and we have a defect or something goes haywire, how do we investigate which one of these things caused the haywireness? I don't know how to do it either, but like we would have to go and investigate.
Oh, well, you don't have to undo a whole lot. You're just like building on from what you know is already solid versus like you don't have a whole lot of technical debt.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Yes, ma'am. Well, technically that we'll talk about. But like if we have a system and we snap one thing on and it breaks, well, that's pretty easy. It was working. Now it don't work. It's because we snapped this thing on. Let's investigate what's up. But if we snap 10 things on and it doesn't work, we got to investigate. Like, so we just snap it on, break it, fix it. Snap it on. We don't want to break it. But you know what I mean? That's one of the benefits. And it gets the things out fast to the customer. And also, additionally, it forces discipline down on the team that like, they're not rushing toward the end. We do things right the first time. We get them approved. We get them pushed. It gets a rhythm of production and like release going so that your boys and girls are in that thing. And that's not to be understated as I'm going like relatively more advanced agile thinking is like, if you get your people thinking about we build, we push, we learn, then like now you got a replicating machine of production. Like you have murderers in a good way. Good job. June, what defines the objective that the Scrum team must achieve during a sprint or a release?
What defines the Scrum team must achieve within a sprint? I'm going to say sprint goal.
That is correct. So like within a sprint, which is, 4 weeks or less, usually 2 weeks, but it's not mandatory that it be that. It's predefined by the team or in agreement, all of them together. We have a goal. For the next 2 weeks, this is why we exist, to serve the customer in this way. Now, the sprint goal is proposed by the product owner in sprint planning. Hey, the reason why we're going to do this 2 weeks is to build a super duper fantastically awesome game to help the students understand key concepts and challenge them in an interactive and fun way. Awesome, dude. That's the sprint goal. Now it can be, it's malleable during sprint planning where like it might be too big, too small, not well enough defined, so they can clean it off with the developers, scrum master, and product owner. Basically developer, I gotta be careful about my fingers, which ones, but like developers and the product owner right there, or yeah. By the end of the sprint planning, the sprint goal is locked down, that they call the product backlog items or user stories, features, functionalities, bricks, are underneath that to support that sprint goal. And that's eyes on the prize, all that the developers worry about during the 2 weeks. They are working to get that done. Every daily scrum is an adjustment, potential adjustment on their plan to achieve the sprint goal. That's all they're doing. Now, the product goal, what's a product goal, June?
So the product goal is the overall, the increment, what we're producing. Well, it's the final product or the final feature. I don't know if you want to call it.
Is the product goal bigger or smaller than the sprint goal?
I think it's larger.
Yes, ma'am, it is. And so like, if we think about it, like there's increment or there's like user stories that become increments, little baby bricks that we build to put into the system.
Yeah.
Those all support a sprint goal. And there's like epics within that, like chunks of work. And then on top of that, the sprint goals are all to support an overall product goal, which is like another leap in product functionality. Like in the old days, we used to do live calls with PowerPoint decks that we would just show. Then we developed that system that we used a little, phony thing and all that stuff. So our product goal was to create an interactive experience that allowed us to see what the students answered, and give us, feedback on their capabilities and stuff. I'm not speaking clearly, but that was a big product goal. A lot of stuff underneath it, but that was a product goal. Boom, we achieved that. Then there's another product goal that we would achieve. One now, a big product goal is to build our own self-sustaining learning management system so that we're not tied to a third party, that if they change their APIs and get all goofy like they are now, that we're in trouble. And so that's a ginormous product goal that we're going to take on, and we are building it. Now the previous sprint goal was to build the student-facing front, like how we hold the videos and stuff. Then we're building a sprint goal right now is build a database behind it. And I believe after that, we're good. But we might have one more sprint of what's like integrate and get it going. But I think those are good. So there's sprint goals. And inside that, there's plenty of user stories.
But Scott, so is the product goal the final overall learning management system that you delivered, or is it just the pieces to get there? Because I look at
the overall.
Okay.
The overall,
great.
yes, ma'am. The integrated system of like the back end, the front end, and it integrates
And then
into
the
all this
final.
stuff because it's like it integrates into your. So the next sprint, the third sprint will probably be ensuring that all the wires are connected to like your schedule, my ability, and the coach's ability to see all your progress, all the automated emails that go out about your head or behind and all that stuff, like making sure that all the wires were like pulled out and pushed back. I don't know how it works. I envision like a old telephone operator, like pushing, like I think that's how it works metaphorically.
Okay.
My job is I work in metaphors. They work in deals. So yeah. So that's cool. All right. Back to Jeremy. High-level summary that articulates the vision and direction of the product over time, guiding team and stakeholders.
Sounds like the roadmap, product roadmap.
Yeah. A product roadmap. Yeah. It's like, we're going to build this right now. I guess I could show you, like, we have never done any marketing. We're bad at, whatever. So now we're coming up with a plan to say, hey, we would like to have this many qualified leads come to us that are our kind of people that we could serve, and this many sales so we can continue to feed the system and make things better and make the world happier and students smile, so bad their face hurts. And so like, we're figuring out what to do for that roadmap. We're like, we're going to build this, and then we're going to build this, and we're going to deploy that and this. So it's like big phases of what we're doing. And then inside of that, we get into what we talked about, like big epics, big chunks of work that we'll deliver and put out there. And then the user stories go below that, and the sprints help deliver everything. So it's all like a system. What's a velocity chart, dude? Any idea?
I do not, but I would assume it has something to do with speed.
I think that's probably fair. I think that's right. Pamela, you know what? Olivia, I'll go down the chain. Olivia, you know what a velocity chart is? Okay, cool. You're going to learn. This is super duper. Pamela, velocity chart.
No, I don't either. But my guess is you're predicting the life cycle of the sprint by the velocity of each the velocity of the team.
Yeah. Yeah. June, what's your interpretation of this?
Similar to what Pamela just said, I think it's the velocity in which we're able to complete a sprint based on the complexity of what we're doing.
Yeah. So weird. I'm figuring out I'm not a Teams guy. I'm trying to figure out how to write on the screen. It's, oh, here, it's probably up here. There we go. All right, sweet. So we have a problem, okay, in Agile. if we were making hubcaps, it's really easy to know how many hubcaps you make every week because you make hubcaps and they're all like kind of the same. There might be shiny ones and not shiny ones or something like that. I don't know. But like, hey, I pumped out 73 hubcaps this week. The team 75 next week, 71. Okay, we can produce this how many hubcaps. Or if we're racing Toyotas against each other, we know how to do velocity. It's miles per hour. But in Agile, I don't know how to measure our team's success because some of the stuff we've never ever built before. My boys and girls have never built this. I don't know how, like, good or bad. So what we do is we have a way to look at the relative complexity of our work. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. And let me see, I might have to pull it up. It's just like a bar chart that shows, let me see, please work. It doesn't work. All right, there's a bug in there. Basically shows how much complexity of work. So each little user story, we say how hard it is. Oh, that one's going to be super duper hard. That one's going to be medium. That one's going to be easy. And we just, for ease of thinking right now, we give it a story, a point system. And I'll just make up a point system that's not what you use, but simple. 1, 2, or 3. Hard stuff are 3s, easy, middle ones are 2s, and easy ones are 1, just for simplicity. So every time we have a card that we work on, we say, that's a 3. This one's a 2. This one's a 3. This one's a 1. So every sprint, we count up what we finished, and we go, and we put the 3, 2, 1 on it. Before we start, we go like, how many 3s did we get done? Oh, we only got 1 of those done. So 3. How many 2s did we get done? We got 2 of those done. Okay. That's a 2, not 3. So that's 2 times 3, that's 6. So we had 3 plus 6, and we had 9 points done. And how many 1s did we get done? Oh, 1 of those. So we had 10 story points done, complexity points. You'll learn about it. So it's like the first sprint, our velocity in the first sprint was 10. Okay, sweet. Let's do it again and again and again. And we figure out how many story points, hardness, difficulty points we got done. And it's like, hey, we're getting maybe 10, 12, 9, 11, 10, 13, 9. And we're like, hey, on average, complexity points, difficulty points, we're getting about 10-ish, 10 and a half-ish done. So that's just kind of gauging how much work. Now, we'll go later into what story points are, the limitations in them and whatever, but it's just how hard the work is in the eyes of the people that have to build it, meaning the developers. And so the benefit of that, in a sense, is it gets the developers talking about the real benefit is how hard do you think this is? Super hard, really easy, somewhere in the middle. And they can say why, because that's what we want them to understand, the difficulty inherent in challenging work. That's what we want. So they can pair up together and nail this out. And then additionally, if they get like super excited and be like, we want to do 20. It's like, bro, we've never done 20 before. Like, why? See you later, Olivia. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. She out. All right, cool. So don't worry. I think I just broke everything. Give me a second. Give me a second. I don't like Teams, but we're all right. So we're learning a lot of concepts that are like shaking in your brain and they'll all come together. All right, back to Pamela. Technique used to scale Scrum means take it from one team to multiple. Technique used to scale Scrum to large groups, multiple teams, addressing areas of coordination and integration between teams. What do you think?
I'm going to go Scrum of Scrums.
Absolutely. And so what Scrum of Scrums is, like, Pamela, let me ask you, what is the general rule on how many people should be on a Scrum team-ish? 150, 10, 3? What's the general rule?
Let's see. Well,
let me ask you this. If you had to plan a party, how many people's too many to plan a party? Plan and build and do out a party, like a company party or something like that.
I guess 200 is too many.
Yeah, to plan. Goodness, I don't want to talk to 200 people. Not who comes, but to like have like the core group of like, we're going to come up with the idea. We're going to get the structure. We're going to kind of run the planning and execution. Like, what's a good group of like, is it like 100 people? Like, that's what we're trying to figure out. Like, how much is enough to like get some good work done, but not be too many that it's like, goodness me, the coordination is out of control. This is a feel thing. There's no right answer.
I think the Scrum of Scrums would be like 50 people, tops.
So let me ask you about like, just go back to a Scrum, like an actual Scrum team, just one team. How many people should be the max on a Scrum team?
Like 9?
Yeah, 10 or less, same thing. Just because, dead on. That means because when we get past that, it's not that like the world falls apart. It's just like now we got a lot of cooks. We got a lot of coordination, a lot of management. So like they say in general, to build something, it's enough people to do some serious good work, but not too many that it's like, oh my gosh, like there's so many people. So a Scrum team is like 10 or less. Now, when we have a problem or a build that requires 50, 60, 70 people, the challenge is, do we do a Scrum team of 70 or do we do 7 Scrum teams? So Scrum of Scrum says do 7 Scrum teams and have them each work on a section of the build. This is like if you're like an enterprise, and then have them connected. So like if I could draw on the screen, it would be like, it'd look like a hierarchy, like a org chart, where like the team 1 through 7, boom, 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 boom. They each run themselves, and they have daily scrums, and they have all the events and artifacts and all that stuff. We have to keep them coordinated because they're not alone. So like every day they have their own daily scrum, and then they send a rep to meet with the other reps for the other teams to say, this is what our team is working on. Let me understand what your team's working on so that we can stay abreast of what's going on. Now, Scrum of Scrums is just one structure to do that. It just says have a Scrum team and then meet together every day. And then the planning cycles kind of operate together. There's also like SAFe and LESS and these other scaling frameworks, but as long as you understand just the general structure, and I wish I could draw it, it's pretty simple. That's what it is. Okay. This is a different concept, but June, do you know what invest means in the sense of like user stories in Scrum?
I knew you were going to ask me. I know it's an acronym, and I think it has something to do with like inspect and value and transparency, if I had to take a few of those letters, but I don't know all of them.
Right. And so all we're doing is throwing a lot of concepts out right now, and we're just talking through it so you can like pick up a little knowledge. And you might be like, dude, I'm getting confused. Ain't no big deal. Invest is a way to look at, like we said, there's 3 C's of user stories or cards, you know, card, communication, confirmation. Now, somebody else came up with an acronym called INVEST. And that's just saying when you look at a user story, let's make sure that it hits some kind of clarifications. You don't just write an amorphous kind of thing. Build a really cool button to do whatever. It's like, dude, come on. It's like, make sure that it's independent. I mean, it's like not walking on something else. Like it's independent. We can build it. We can deliver it. In means make sure you appreciate that it's negotiable. It's not you telling the world, thou shalt. It's like the goal of the story or the feature, the functionality that we're framing up is to not just be wishy-washy, but to say, hey, we have to talk to somebody. That's the communication side of it. V is like, hey, what value does this really provide? That's kind of like the reason why we write them normally kind of in the user story format. So we're saying, who does this serve and why? E means, have you provided enough information for it to be estimatable? It's like, dude, you didn't give me enough so that I can understand how hard it is. Okay. Like, shoot, I got lost in the S and the T. I got lost in the S and the T. I was thinking about other things, but there's 2 other things, like testable is at the end, that there's like a final line, like there. And then I'll think of the S in a second. But basically it's just saying, hey, before you write a story and give it to somebody, finish a story and give it to somebody, make sure that it's like well-formed, but not crazy depth. That's all they're saying.
Okay.
You'll be all right. Yeah. Let's go one more, June. A visual representation of the amount of work left to do in a release. And I'll talk about what a release is. Helping track progress toward completion.
Release burn down chart?
Yeah. And so there's the same thing. Burn down chart. What is a burn down chart, ma'am?
It's a chart that shows the amount of work needed to be completed step by step. From most difficult to least. Is that right?
Kind of. Pamela, do you know what a burn down chart is?
Burn down is the work that's been completed.
Absolutely. If we have, it's like a X and Y, like if we have 10 things to do and we got this much time, it's like, hey, how many have we done each day? It's basically it's like they draw a line, like a linear line. Life doesn't work in straight lines, I don't think. But like, it's just saying every day we got to get this much done theoretically to get done at 0 at the end. And you're just tracking how much you've gotten done. So you can kind of watch the progress as it burns down. Burn down sounds negative, but in this context, it's positive. How much do you have left to do? And so you can go, we're halfway through. Goodness me, we should be done. We started with 10, with about 5 of them. Oh no, we only have 7, or we have 7 left. We're a little bit behind. And so it just kind of lets you kind of monitor as it go. Now, the difference between a burn down and a release burn down is just what we're viewing. A burn down chart is usually for a sprint. And a release burn down is like, a release is, hey, we're going to build a bunch of stuff, palletize it up or get it chunked together, and we'll release it all together. We'll push it out all together. So it's like, how much of the stuff that we need to have done have we finished? That's all a release burn down is. Yeah. Because like, say we were building this, and like in the sprint, it was to build the front end stuff. And it's like, cool, that burned down, like we can see. But for the release, I can't just release a pretty picture and functionality in the front. I got to have a database on the back that like allows all the functionality and all the content. So like a release burn down would be even bigger. It would probably go across multiple sprints. It definitely would. Well, you could have a release within a sprint.
So
But yes.
release burn down is not the final deliverable? It's
When
just
you say, I worry when you say final deliverable that I don't know what you mean by final deliverable.
well, I mean, is there anything else to be done?
In that release, no.
But there could be
What is a
another
release in your mind?
Okay.
What's a release in? Tell me what a
Oh, what-
release means.
Well, we're releasing something. We're releasing a feature.
Yeah, and so like when you think like of a release, so if you build an individual feature, you technically release it when it's pushed out.
Okay.
The way they talk about release is like a bundle of features that you push out at the same time. So like, yes, you do release individual ones. You should do it all the time. Cumulatively, continuous integration. But like if we put all these 5 together and release it, they're talking about that release. And then
Okay.
the way I think about like when you say final, it's like, as long as I got ideas, money, and customers, like we'll never stop building. Probably.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's just a difference in the scale.
Difference in the scale. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about that one right now because I can't draw it out. All right, sweet. Back to you, Jeremy. Estimation technique that compares the size of the work items or task relative to each other, usually using story points or t-shirt sizing.
Sounds.
There you go, Jeremy. Small was small. Goodness me. Maybe it was so small in my brain I couldn't remember it for invest. Keep going. So what estimating approach or technique that compares? So that's all you need to estimate technique that compares. Which one of those words, absolute or relative, is a more comparative thing?
Relative.
Yeah. So absolute estimating says this takes 4.5 hours. Relative estimating says this one's about as hard as the last one that we did. In Agile, it's very unlikely that we know exactly how long it takes to do something. So if I were to set a system up that said, I need my developers to tell me exactly how long it takes to build this interface right here, I would be asking them to tell me something that they can't tell me. And they have a decision, either to tell me, dude, you're asking me something ridiculous, or they just lie to me to get me out of their hair because they got to build it anyway. So that's not a good way to live. So what we want to do is say, yo, to build this, how hard is it? And they'd say, well, the only way I'm going to know that is you tell me more about it. And I say, well, it needs to work like this. And they go like, so this little button right here, or does that turn a color? No. Oh, that what happens if you do this? Can you change your answers or not change your answers? We start talking about the work, which is more useful than them just lying about how long it takes and guessing. So the goal of relative estimating is to get to a deeper understanding of the challenge in the work and to compare it against others so that we don't bring in too much or too little. It's a little Goldilocks-y when we're planning. So story points are a number system that the team makes up to represent how hard something is. When they say 11, they mean, goodness me, it's super hard. When they say 1, it's like, dude, that's baby talk. That's easy. I don't like user stories as a person, because I think like it's just another level of coding when they could just say, dude, this is super hard, bro. And then we could get to it instead of saying, dude, it's super hard. That's an 11 versus a 9 or a 7. Then I got to commit. It's like, I'm easy. It's super hard. Now let's talk about it. So that's good. All right, here's a fun one.
Real quick, I got a question, Scott. When would you use absolute estimating?
When you know how hard something is or how long something takes.
Okay. All right. Got it.
But like even in waterfall, we use absolute estimating, but sometimes we don't even technically know because think of 3 point. That's like 10 hours, 5 hours, 3 hours, 7 hours. We average them together. That is an absolute estimate, but it's an average of it. But if we know we've been building Chick-fil-A parking lots for the past 2 years, it's going to take about 3 weeks. So it's like, bam, 3 weeks. Like, but it's based on historical knowledge or math or machine. It takes 17 minutes for the machine to run. That's how they designed it. It's going to take 17 minutes. Like there's a way for absolute estimating, but we use it when it's knowable or known.
So is it fair to say, or did you say this, that we'll see it more in waterfall than in Agile?
I would say that is fair to say.
Okay.
It is fair to say. Because it's like a lot of times in Agile, we don't know how long, like we're not right now. My guy, Nate, is switching our podcast like platform from Libsyn, which is what we use now, to Spotify because we are able to use the video version on Spotify.
Okay.
If I were to say, Nate, tell me how long it takes to switch from Libsyn to Spotify. He'd be like, I guess ChatGPT says maybe like 15 minutes, but like we've never done it before. And I probably goofed up Libsyn when I set it up that he's going to have to unwind it. And so it's like, how hard is it? I don't think it's that hard. All right, sweet. That's basically what we're getting to.
Okay.
Pamela, set of criteria that a user story must meet before the development team can or should agree to include it in an upcoming sprint.
Definition of done.
Okay. What word? Okay, so what's the difference between definition of ready and definition of done?
Definition of ready is it's the team thinks it's just about there, but it hasn't checked the box for completion.
Okay, sweet. So in the way you're thinking about it now, it's like we hit the definition of ready and then it's done. So it's like the cake's almost ready and the cake's done. Is that how it is?
Yeah.
So what I want to do with that kind of definition in your brain is take this definition already and instead of like work being done, I want you to push it earlier in the process. In order for for the team to take on work, they need to have a minimum understanding about what is needed, why it's needed, and what the finished condition needs to be. So when you think of definition of ready, it means ready to be started.
Okay.
So if like I come up, take a shower every morning, not bragging, but like every time in the shower, I come out with like ideas. And so like if every time, dude, I had an idea. And I just throw it at my guys, they'd be like, first of all, they quit after like second week. And then secondly, they'd be like, dude, this is not a well-formed idea. So I need to refine it so it's ready to be worked, which goes back to independent, negotiable, valuable, estimatable, small, testable. And we can do it on the card. Then I can pitch it at the right time, in the right way, at the right size, in sprint planning, give them a little insights beforehand so that boom, they can get ready to work it. Then they're like, thank you so much. They can talk it back and forth. Like using like story point concept or a relative estimating, this idea that Scott had, I understand how it supports the product. I understand how it supports the sprint goal. I understand the concepts we push back. It's kind of a medium hardness and they can go build it. Definitely, we have enough to start it, ready to work. Now, because it's testable, with acceptance criteria and quality standards well-defined by the company and by the individual work item, when they get it to the finish line, they can say it is done, D-O-N-E, done, like in done. Like no additional work is needed because we built what you wanted. It does basically, in essence, what you desire from the customer's perspective. And the acceptance criteria, when you hit the button and it's right, it turns green. When you hit the button, it turns red. When it's bad, I can go back and forth and it stays. Whatever it is, it automatically sorts to the incorrect bucket as well. All those things are checkable thingies, testable. so that they go, it is DONE done, bro. And I go, yay. Okay. If they were to like not finish it completely, but it works like on the outside for me, but they know they got a new, database nerd junk in the back, but they kind of like said, hey, just push it out, whether telling me that or just like say, yeah, it works, got go. They would be creating technical debt, bad, worst thing in the world, okay? Meaning they didn't follow the definition of done. So the definition of ready is ready to be worked. Done is in DONE, done. I ain't got to do anything else to this thing for the rest of my life until it breaks again. So that's good. Those are like the bell ends, if you will. Yes, ma'am, of the sprint. June, a visual tool used in Agile and Kanban to show the flow of work items through the various stages of work process or whatever.
Is it Kanban board?
It is a Kanban board. Yes, ma'am. So a Kanban board is like a visual board. Jeremy, you know what a Kanban board is? I see nodding. Yep. Family, you good with Kanban board? Yep. To do, doing, in QA, done, blocked, where all the work is. The key concept is WIP limits. What's a WIP limit, June?
Work in progress.
Yep. Why do we want to have one?
Why do we want to have work in progress limit? Because we want to move that work out. We don't want to have it lingering too long. We want to make sure it's moving.
Right. And as soon as you get like a little resistance on the work, like it gets held up, there's a problem. The easiest thing to do is say, I'll do it later, start a new thing.
Okay.
We don't want to do that. We want to deal with the problems that are in our face because we only got 2 weeks, and it's better like when the iron's hot to go after it. So if a work in progress limit, I mean, I can only have 2 jobs going at a time. I can't start another one. I either got to deal with this or just sit. So deal with the problem, call in help, get your friends, whatever, put it to the blocked column to get double help, whatever it is. That's why WIP limits are like, will set you free because it'll force you to solve your problems. Sweet. Back to the top, Jeremy. Team that determines how to accomplish their work rather than being directed by others outside the team.
Sounds like self-organized team.
Yeah, cross-function just means we have all the skills we need. You can weld, I can, I don't know, do whatever. Like we have what we need. Self-organized mean they are there to do it. Like, and you're trying to build that self-organizing and autonomous nature into the team. Not everybody is born with that nature or giving the skills to do it, so we have to build it into them. I can dig it. Family, yep. Yep, I got one. Shared understanding within a Scrum team of what it means for work to be complete. You got this one. Ensuring that the increment is potentially releasable, meeting the criteria for quality and fit for use by the customer and end user. You know this.
Definition of done.
100%. I knew it. And what's the difference between acceptance criteria and definition of done?
Acceptance criteria are the things that you have to do to get to the definition of done.
I believe that is correct. Tell me more. What do you mean? Are the work tell me more.
Like what was defined in the what is determined to be acceptable by the end user as a completed product are the acceptance criteria. And if those aren't met, then it hasn't met the definition of done.
Right. And then that and more things that like the code has been like use best practices, been noted, there's notes on it, all that junk. So like, acceptance criteria is unique to the actual thing. When I hit this button and it's wrong, it turns red. And there's a little thing over here. When I hit this button, it turns green, blah, blah, blah. That's acceptance criteria. Definition of done is that meaning it works in all these different ways and that the acceptance criteria has been satisfied. It's kind of cool. You already know that. Here's a fun one. Let's go, June. Agile software development practice, where the whole team works on the same thing at the same time, at the same computer, at the same blah, 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 whatever.
Mob programming.
Yeah, mobs sound bad. I don't want to be at the center of one, unless I'm like the Beatles, and that doesn't even look fun. But like, I might have used that joke last week, whatever. But like, mob programs mean we all jump. It's like pair program on steroids, right? We're all jumping on it to go there. Bang, 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 bang. We got all the skills we need. The work should just like, we're going to break through rocks and we're going to just flow this thing. That's beautiful. What's a spike, June?
Okay, so spike sounds like when it's just a immediate hike or increase, uptick.
Okay, that does sound like a spike. So when you see spike is up. I'm going to flip that. Spike is down. Jeremy, any idea what a spike is?
I don't know what Agile spike is. No, I'm not sure.
What kind of spikes do you know about?
I thought we were reading about spikes in waterfall too, but
Sweet. Tell me what it is. I thought you were going to say like a railroad spike.
No.
Okay, I didn't know. I was guessing, dude. Like, what? Just tell me what. I need something to work off of.
Gosh, I honestly don't remember.
All right, so I'll go back in like 15 seconds. Jeremy, lie to me. Tell me what you think spikes are.
I felt in my mind I associated it with like just effort, like the amount of effort you're putting in on an effort, on something.
Okay, cool. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. So we're gonna attach that effort to like what the effort's to achieve. So good. It is effort within a sprint, within the 2 weeks. The goal of the spike is to investigate something that we don't know how to do. So it's like, hey, I want to build the ability, like the little thing where you like, for our live calls where you have to like scan the QR code thing, whatever. Like our dudes didn't know how to do that. So I could have asked them, figure it out, bro. Like, or we could establish a spike within a sprint that says the goal of your little bit of time, like half a day, is to go down deep
and research,
search the internet, figure out how to do it. Don't build it. Figure out how to do it. Or is it possible to do? It's anything in the world is possible, probably. So the spike was like a deep dive, like pointed down with the focus, like, hey, I'm going to give you whatever time you want, half day, whatever, to go research something. That's what a spike is. It's like a research project. Sweet. We'll go one more. Pamela, no. I think it's back to you, Jeremy. Sorry, I think Junior. I don't know. I'm doing my best. Jeremy, process used to capture the requirements and feedback from users, customers, and users to understand their needs, wants, and expectations.
I don't think it's team charter, so voice of the customer.
Sweet, yeah. Voice of the customer is just like, it's like an idealized thing. Like a persona is an idealized perfect customer, like the ideal person that we're doing. Voice of the customer is just like the concept of like, we need to have the voice of the customer. We need to make sure that the information is flowing back to us. It's kind of like a reminder of what's important. In Lean or Six Sigma, mostly in Six Sigma, they say like the voice of the process. We listen to the process. We listen to the voice of the customer, the voice of the process, all these different things. Cool. What is a team charter, Jeremy?
That's just what everybody got together and agreed on all their constants for the actual effort itself for the whole project.
Yeah, how are we going to work together? What's our working agreements? When do we meet? What's how do we deal with conflict? How are we going to communicate, et cetera, et cetera? It's like a working agreement, social contract on how we operate. So cool. The other thing to think through as like you use this 50-50 gaming thing is like, I'm your glossary currently, but like, if you're like, I don't know what an information radiator is, you would click here and you would go, all right, information radiator. There it is. Then you could read it. You could click it. You could, hey, a visible physical display that provides information to the reset the organization. Oh my God. I don't like, whatever. I can't read that. There's like me in another shirt explaining it, like bang, bang, bang. Sweet. You can add it to your favorites and be like, I'm going to come back to that one. Cool. And you notice how I've been like, hey, whatever, you got their answer right. It's like, sweet, what's the other thing? So like, do that to yourself, whatever. One more, then we'll go off into the good night. Pamela, group discussion technique where a small group of participants discuss a specific topic while surrounded by a large group of observers. That sounds creepy.
Yeah. Fishbowl.
Yeah. And I don't love that. Like the act, I think it's we have the ability for people to look into the work, or how we're doing it. So like a fishbowl or like a central conference room or whatever, or like an online thing where people can bounce into the meetings and just try not to get in the way. But basically we're trying to create in Agile, we're trying to create transparency, and we're always inspecting our progress and adapting as we go. So this is a transparency tool. What's an information radiator? We just Googled it or whatever on the thingy. What is the information radiator?
A tactic to provide information to all of the team.
Yeah, it's like a central board, digital or otherwise, in a central location. It could be in a hallway where everybody walks down, or like the central dashboard on the thing where everybody clicks the link. And it's like perfectly updated information in the sense of like it's like as quickly as, as present as possible. We don't want it old, so that it cuts down on the amount of like, hey, can you make this report? Hey, can you tell me what's going on? Hey, can you stop your progress? And it's like we want to produce things, not produce reports that tell us about how we produce things. Sweet. Last one, June. If we get this right, we can go home. I'm already home. Technique used for estimating by sorting user stories or tasks into groups based on their similarity in size or complexity.
Affinity estimating.
Affinity estimating. Yeah. Affinity's like, I have an affinity for pork chops. So like, I like them. They're like, whatever. I don't know if that works or not. But like, yeah, we bring them together. Analogous estimating is like kind of like. That's like a relative estimating technique. But yeah, great job. Hopefully this was helpful today. We did a little bit different just to like see how you're doing. You get learning as we go these concepts, and we'll go from there. So super duper. Next week we'll do questions galore.
I got a question for you, Scott. You said it, but I forgot. What's the S in invest?
Small.
Small. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I forgot it.
Thank you.
Cool.